Hey guys, my name is Dewey Jones. I am a former ski instructor, especially a kids ski instructor for a long time. I've probably taught 1,000 kids how to ski, from never evers to high level lessons. I even taught adults for a little bit. So in this video, we're gonna go through my tips to help you make sure your kids have an amazing time skiing and so that they can join you on some amazing ski adventures. But I wanna make sure that you guys get those kids trained right. All right, so I absolutely think the best start for a kid is between 4 and 5 years old. That actually was my specialty in getting kids of that age from never skiing to actually skiing the mountain. But you can teach 2 to 3 year olds, but I don't recommend ski school for them. So at the end of this video, I'll kind of tell you how I would teach a youngin', but let's get right into the tips and let's start with what you should do before you even get onto the slopes. All right, now before you even get out here, let's talk about some of the things you should do at home to get kids kind of interested in skiing. Now, the first thing I would recommend is teach them what skiing is. Talk to them about skiing. Talk about the adventures that you've had skiing, the times you've had skiing, because if it's coming from you, their parent, their guardian, they are gonna get more excited and they're gonna be more interested to learn once they get out here. Because remember, it's cold out here, it's snowing, you have fog, you got all kinds of stuff that can throw kids off a little bit. So you want to really kind of show them, teach them what you love about skiing, all that stuff that really got you going. Make sure they know it too. All right, now before you even get out here and start skiing with the kids, you also want to take them to go get their own gear. Now, you know, one of the things that is really great for a kid is that they can be warm out here. So let them take some ownership in getting that gear. I definitely recommend going shopping with them before you come out on your ski trip and just basically, you know, get them excited that way by getting them some gear. All right, now one other thing you can do before you get them out here is take them rollerblading. And if you have access to water, take them water skiing. Those are the kind of skills that will help translate to being out here and will help them really pick up skiing a lot easier. All right, now when you're out skiing with kids, you've got to realize their little bodies, those guys need breaks. They have to. And I was someone that wasn't the greatest with this. I loved pushing kids. I loved getting them onto the mountain because that's where I think the most fun happens when skiing. But I was pretty good at telling when a kid needed a break and when they didn't. And more so than not, kids need breaks, more breaks than they need to be continuously skiing. So definitely take your breaks. All right, another good tip is make it a game for your kids. Let them have some fun, let them play some games. And if this video does well, I can maybe show you guys some ski games you can play with kids. But yeah, you know, you just wanna kind of make it a game because skiing's fun, but it's more fun when it's a game. Well, another big tip is include their friends. If it's possible, include their friends in their ski lessons, their ski holiday. That will go a long way. Their kids' peer groups are extremely important to getting them to do stuff, getting them to enjoy stuff. So if you can include their friends, you're ahead of the game. I think the thing I love about Steamboat's trees is how they'll go from the snowy trees to this in just one easy run right here. But let's talk about, you just don't want to pressure them. You don't want to push them too hard when they're out here learning a ski. Skiing is kind of a challenging situation. You're slipping down a hill, you're sliding down a hill, it's cold, it might be snowing, it might be foggy like it is now. They don't have the greatest thoughts. It's a little bit harder to come back. It's not a deal breaker. You can always change, you know, a bad experience and make it a good experience, but it's always better to not have to do that. All right, you're out skiing and the kid tells you they don't want to ski. Well, that's something you need to inquire further. You need to ask them why. Why don't you want to ski? And, you know, I've taught a ton of kids and there's been kids that didn't want to ski, but it was always by asking why that I was able to rectify the situation and get them back out there skiing. Usually it's simple stuff. They're hungry, they need to use the bathroom, they miss their mom, and all of those have solutions. So it's not a deal breaker when they say they don't want to ski. You can easily get a kid back out here skiing. Every kid is different. Every kid has different triggers, and you definitely want to know your kid's triggers when you're out teaching them skiing. It's a risky activity. It's a stressful activity. It can be a stressful activity. And you want to make sure you know your kids' triggers. And if you are putting your kids into ski lessons, make sure you let that instructor know what the kids' triggers are. That helps us out. That helps us realize what's going on with the kids when we're out here teaching them to ski. All right, another tip I have for you guys is play some video games or ski games at home. When I was a kid, SSX was a huge one, and it was a lot of fun. I remember playing it before I got out here. It made it a lot more exciting, a lot more fun when I first learned to ski because I had been playing SSX, and that's something you can do with them nowadays. Now, this is probably my favorite tip because I'm a video maker, but use that power of video. Videotape your kids skiing. They'll love to see it back. They'll love to look back and see what they were doing. It's also an extremely useful tip for improving skiing. If you can look at some video of yourself skiing, your kids skiing, you can usually see what's going on a little bit easier sometimes than being out here and watching your kids ski in the moment, because you know, you want to make sure they're safe, and that's your #1 priority. All right, now my next tip is probably a little controversial, but it's a great one, and that is bribery. Now, as a ski instructor, I never had a lot of cash, so I never bribed them with stuff that cost money, but I bribed them with little things like ski runs, you know? So if I needed them to ski a certain run because we were working on a skill and they were about to get a breakthrough, say I needed them to ski a blue black or something like that, and they weren't, you know, in their head weren't quite ready for that. Well, that's what I would bribe them with. Hey, ski this run for me, and then we'll ski whatever you guys want to do. Usually it's Ripperoo's Forest or something like that. And it always seemed to work. You can always kind of bribe, you know, in other ways. So it's definitely something that will be useful when you're teaching your kids skiing. All right, now I no longer ski instruct, so even though this is a biased tip, I definitely think if you can afford it, put your kids into ski lessons. Ski lessons are specifically designed to keep your kids safe, make sure they're having fun, as well as teaching them what they need to know to advance, and to advance the right way. So if you can afford ski lessons, it's really gonna help them. Plus they'll be with other kids. It's just, I'm a big proponent of ski lessons, but I'm a proponent for them once they're above the age of 4. Specifically, if you can wait until they're 4.5, it's one of the best ages to get them into ski lessons. All right, if you're coming out for a ski holiday, a ski vacation, you know, it's a good idea to plan non-ski days with your kids out there. This allows them to experience some of the other winter fun that can be had, and it gives you more to work with when you try to convince them to come back out to another ski holiday in the future. So definitely plan for some non-ski days. I guarantee your kids will love it. Sledding, snowmobiling, that kind of stuff. Kids like that stuff. All right, my next tip is let the kids be in charge. You want to make sure that those kids have some voice when they're out here skiing. They're having some fun. They get to pick the runs that they go on and that kind of stuff. And the more that kids get to have a say in what they're doing, the more ownership, the more fun they're gonna have out here. All right, let's talk about poles. Now, kids always want poles, or at least it seems they always want poles when they're first starting out. And that's probably because the parents have poles, all that kind of stuff. But the biggest key with kids is you really want to dial in that lower body before you start bringing in other elements to the skiing game. So we usually at Keystone wouldn't give kids poles until they're, especially in the 4 and 6, you know, range, we wouldn't give them poles until they're getting into the blues. That's when they could ski a blue pretty good, that's when we'd start bringing in poles. So, all right, let's talk about those 1 to 3 year olds that are absolutely ripping the mountain. Now, I am not a fan of 3-year-olds in ski lessons. I know a lot of resorts offer them, and I think it's the best to avoid them unless they have a specific 3-year-old program. If they have a 3-year-old program, it's probably okay. But if you want your kid to be skiing at, you know, 1 to 3 years old, unfortunately, you're gonna have to teach them, and you're gonna have to take a ton of baby steps with them to really get them skiing. I mean, that's like putting their boots on down at the base area, just getting them to slide, getting them to feel, getting them to play in the snow, that kind of stuff. It's very little steps. And then once they're old enough, put them into ski lessons and they'll expand even further. But yeah, you know, hopefully this video is helpful. I am gonna end up making ski guides of all the Colorado resorts. I'll probably focus on beginners. I'm gonna get out here on the slopes with you. I'll kind of show you what I would do using my ski instructor knowledge, that kind of stuff when we're making those guides. And that's what we're gonna do here. So if that sounds like something you'd like to see, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, thanks for watching.